health light should be all cleared up. I can go outside. Hello, people of the past, or present, I don't know. This is a message from the future. I don't know what year, because I've been here for a long time. Now, if you're wondering how I'm talking to you, well, thanks to my genius and my craftiness, I have made a tectonic phone, which thanks to tachyons, I think that's what they're called, I can connect to you from the future. And I'm pretty sure I'm smart enough to figure this out. If I'm correct, this is the year 2010, and yeah, I'm just in time to stop the big catastrophe that leads down to where we are now. Well, while we wait for everything to calm down and the hellfire to stop raining, let's talk about where we're at in the past. In 2044, we built one Allied master computers that formed together to make one called AM now. He has sort of terraformed the Earth, so it's epic. We have hippos run by the great leader, Andre Hippopotamus from Colombia. He just destroyed Salt Lake City and is I don't know why, personally. I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. He's a bad guy. But for you people in the past and people watching now, let's talk about ways we can learn what to do through apocalypse movies. No matter what the state of the world is, we just love seeing this all come crumbling down. And since it's been 35 days, according to the little over there, I think it's finally time to go up and become a faction leader. Always want to do that. But first, let's learn about Six String Samurai and Radioactive Dreams. Oh, God. Ooh. I don't like bubbles. I'm gonna cut this out.
Six String Samurai is a 1998 movie directed by Mungia. Set in the world where the Cold War never went, nowhere. America is now a wasteland filled with bandits and factions, except for one place, Las Vegas. Now called Lost Vegas, because, funny. This is now ruled by Elvis. Now that the king is gone, Vegas needs a new king of rock and roll. The film follows Buddy, who of course is named after and modeled after Buddy Holly, who's accompanied by a kid named Kid. Okay. The film was heavily inspired by films and other work from foreign countries, the main plot being reminiscent of the thing you've heard of but not really seen, The Lone Wolf and the Cub. You know that work as that thing that inspired Logan, Last of Us, and The Mandalorian. Due to how relatively obscure this movie is, most of the information we have of this film comes from the 2021 4K re-release. And the only piece of media is, of course, the comic book made by Rob Liefeld.
Which I think we have a copy right here. And it's honestly the worst things I've ever read in my life because of its formatting. You see, it's the normal standard, comic book style, reading like a book. Then I'll go, oh, screw it, let's do this. Then, okay, cool. Then it's this, back to this. Even though that's actually happened, okay. Now I think, ooh, what's this? Wall of text, very spicy for a visual medium. And this is the reason, if you ever want the experience of reading like you're driving a car, this is for you.
December of 1996, the director needed to make an underground thesis film at Loyola University. His plan was to use stuff the college already had, but due to him being a college student, he had very, very, very little money. So as a result, his thesis would have been something, something standard you would see in your film class that your annoying classmate would show. One room, about life, imposter syndrome, the works. Then he met Jeffrey Falcon. With Falcon, Mungia had the kick he really needed to get the movie he really, really wanted to make. Jeff Falcon was an accomplished actor in a variety of classic Hong Kong action films. The two had a mutual love for these sorts of movies, punching, kicking, a guy doing this, a guy doing that, the works. Voodoo headed to the desert with nothing but a camera, some kid they found. I don't know where they found him. I don't know where this kid is. Hope he's okay. And they had a dream. Eventually, days became weeks became months, summer was coming, and that kid was way getting older. It didn't help that they could only shoot with Justin McGuire, the kid, only on weekends because school. Eventually, they had so many problems they had to get one thing they always needed: money. The pair managed to scratch up $2 million from the Hollywood Stock Exchange, a fancy new market for financing independent films back in the 90s. Production was ready to roll. Still, it was no easy ride for Mungia and Falcon. This was marked by an almost immediate cease and desist for the film's original name, The Blade. Yes, that does sound familiar. They settled on the name Six String Samurai after it was coined by a player on the Hollywood Stock Exchange, and the rest is history. The production itself was absolutely brutal. Keep in mind this thing was shot in the Death Valley, which around summer hits 116 degrees, and breaking multiple air conditioners throughout the shoot. Long, hot shooting days were only met with meticulous planning all night. Mungia and Falcon sacrificed a lot of sleep in order to plan out the next day of shooting. Despite the $2 million budget, they still run a tight ship. Falcon took care of the costumes, choreography, and props, while still mostly doing his own stunts, and Mungia planning storyboards and shot lists just to be ready for the next day. Mungia described himself and Falcon as both of the school that says you have to make use of what you have, but relied on their passions and skills to create the final product on a tight budget. Their low-budget action style created a final product that cranked all of the cliches of their favorite B-movie action foreign films to 11. This sort of production style was unforgiving on everyone. I can't imagine what Death and his posse of bad guys were thinking of wearing that black leather trench coats in the middle of, the Death Alley. What the hell? Let's talk about that. They look familiar, don't they? Of course, his look's inspired by the rock legend Slash of Guns N' Roses. That's only the beginning of Six String Samurai's onslaught of music references. I already mentioned the Buddy Holly reference in the main character's appearance and name, of course, but did you also catch the reference in his duel with that ukulele-wielding musician? That musician holds a striking resemblance to the guitarist Richie Valens, who died in the same plane crash in '59 as Buddy Holly did. All the minor characters are also little homages to different music genres, which I kind of love because I'm a big fan of factions. We see Death kill a country westerner as well as a whole mariachi band. Needless to say, Mungia's love for music is just as present as his Hong Kong karate influence. These combine into a sort of rock and roll Mad Max packed with over-the-top stunts and fantastical fights. Without any one of its elements, the movie would feel incomplete and one-dimensional. Each part of it helps prop up the other, giving the melody of a wild experience unlike any other. The movie pulls from all sorts of sources, but its cultural influences can be seen and felt in a few different mediums. In Fallout New Vegas, a game set in a post-apocalyptic desert such as the one in the film, there's an achievement with a direct reference to the film. If the player chooses to follow in the footsteps of Buddy, the crew can become a master of swordplay. Players took this a step further, using NordX going so far as to create a mod, adding a katana and guitar combos like Buddy has. There's even some references in some classic songs, like Panucci's Pizza's Holy Diver Part 2. The math rock band draws references to the line,
"Nice tuxedo. Nice tuxedo to die in."
continuing the lineage of rock music references into the modern age.
Well, since this is going out to the past, I think it's wise to sort of inform you what's going on so you can prepare. It all started in 2024. The EPA was bought out by Yum Brands, so now it's not the EPA, it's the EPA brought to you by Yum Brands, comma, PepsiCo, comma, Doritos, comma, Taco Bell, comma, Pizza Hut. It's a really confusing, really long name, but it's just, how it is. It's really weird. We sort of have a sort of rise of the Allied master computer absorbing the Russian Allied master computer and the Chinese one to become AM. That's now been kidnapping people and turning into slugs and cavemen. It's a really weird phase that's happening to machines. I don't know why machines are doing that. Like, can't you happen? We have the invasion of Salt Lake City by the great Generalissimo Hippopotamus of Colombia and his people attacking Salt Lake City. Right now he's defending it from the spider people of Quignargia. It's a really weird name, but you can't say that anymore, apparently. That's when Nocturne City got started out. A lot of kids from Reddit wanted to go to that, some cyberpunk city. They went crazy over that. Overhyped, personally. It was kind of Apparently that's really cool for all the kids to go to nowadays. Nocturne City. You go in, and then that's when the other aliens come. They're from space. They're like crabs, and they're going. They destroyed Vancouver. That's gone. They're destroying London. That's gone too. And for some reason, big space marines start punching these orcs, but they're not normal orcs. They speak like Cockney accents, like, "Oi lads, let's go, let's score some goals." And they go, "Eh," and they go, "Bam, bam, 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 bam." And then we have big spacecrafts from the future of space go shoo, and they like little guys, and they're like doing this, and then we have we have chimpanzees right on the backs of like the rhinox people, but the rhinox people are normal rhinoceroses, but it's really weird. But they're not rhinoceroses, they're rhinoxes. It's really confusing. And then like giddy up, and they're attacking also the hippo people of Colombia. I don't know why. I thought they'd be cool with each other. And that's it, really. It's, it is what it is.
My name's Philip, and this is going to be a yarn about me and my pal, Marlo, about the day we got out of the shelter and went off into the post-nuclear world, where we both dreamed becoming private eyes, just like the ones we'd read about.
Now, let's get on to the next movie. Radioactive Dreams. This is a very, very, very deep cut. It was so hard to find any information on this because the only way to watch it is the VHS copy. Or, if you're lucky, you can see it in a film festival that pops up out of nowhere sometimes and plays that movie for some weird reason. Besides that, you're best sticking with the YouTube rip of it online, which is only recently popped up after I spent 2 hours trying to find it online that wasn't a Spanish dub of it. Let's start with the director, Albert Pyun. This is actually the same director of the infamous 1990s Captain America movie. You know, the rubber ears and like, oh, little boy, I saw you from the other side of the missile or something, and I stole a car too. If you like the musical apocalypse of Six String Samurai, you are in for a treat with this one. The director lives in the same space of action-packed B-movie genre joints that oozes style. Radioactive Dreams is about two guys entering a post-apocalyptic world after living their entire life in a bunker. The early media being outdated 50s thrills and noir mysteries, but two oh-so-naive young men enter a world that is like the 1980s but mutated to a new wave fever dream. They themselves still clinging on to starchy suits and swing music, so their immediate experience is nothing but pure culture shock. If you weren't already on board with this crazy premise, it only gets way, way weirder. The two come across the case of the last nuclear warhead in the world without them knowing it. The two have to escape all sorts of genetic monstrosities, like the disco mutants, a couple of foul-mouthed revolver-wielding kids dressed up in disco attire. Think John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, except they're not Scientologists. Maybe. I'll have to get back on that. This sort of off-the-wall conflict gives them no room to breathe. The entire back half of the movie is like one long Wham music video, which, thankfully for me, I love Wham and George Michael. Getting back to the director now. Pyun has had a long history in the film industry. Despite his relative obscurity, not only did he get in early with the Marvel market with his version of Captain America, he also worked with the legends of Japanese film, such as Akira Kurosawa and Toshiro Mifune. Yes, that Kurosawa and Mifune, the ones behind Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, Rashomon, and about a billion other classics. And also Mifune was in some Mexican film as a Mexican guy. Here's a picture. Yes, that's it. Through sheer circumstance, Mifune came across one of Pyun's short films. The actor liked it so much that he brought him to Japan, and next thing you know, he's working with him and Kurosawa. Working on Radioactive Dreams, Pyun found an intense fixation on the world of the apocalypse. To him, the scenario of the post-apocalypse is extremely human, and provided a diverse visual environment to create a story in. The bizarre world created by the apocalypse is free of all real-world convention. It's a stage where you can do anything, explore any ideas without bogged down by realism or social standards. This mentality is evident in the constant style and energy present in the film. Pyun does not shy away from turning everything up to 11 when it comes to lighting, costuming, acting, and just about every sensory presence in the film. Radioactive Dreams in all of its stylized nuclear glory is considered by many to be the Fallout movie that fans have wanted for such a long time. The movie shares a scary amount of similarities with the iconic game franchise. They're the big ones like the apocalypse, the nuclear bunker, the themes of a nuclear war, and of course, the unforgettably retro soundtrack, aesthetics. But of course, the references run a lot deeper than that. Pip-Boy, the Fallout franchise, looks exceptionally similar to a machine we see Mutant wear right at the start of the film. Not only that, but the Tunnel Snakes, a Greaser-inspired gang from Fallout 3, look really close similar to the Greaser types in the world of the movie. Not to mention the enemies in both the games and the movies that feature the three gold standards of apocalypse media: giant rats, cannibals, mutants.
Well, we have a little more time, so I'm going to end the show off with my top 5 favorite factions. Number 5, the Kings from Fallout New Vegas. They're cool, and there's a robot dog, and robot dogs are pretty epic. Number 4 is the Tau Empire from Warhammer. They look like Shockwave from Transformers, and Shockwave's cool. He's my favorite. He's purple. Ooh, number 3 is the Decepticons, because they're also purple, and they're evil, and there's like a guy who's a T-Rex, and there's a guy who's like a bug, and there's like a big dinosaur. It's also like a spaceship, I think. Yeah. Number 2 is this thing. That's pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah, it's epic. Number 1, the Wheelers from Return to Oz. Yeah. If you disagree with my list, this just in. I don't care. It's my show. Well, everyone, I think it's time for me to go up there. I don't know what I'll see. I know I'll be fine because I studied these movies pretty well. If you're in the future, or present, as us cool future people call it, I will see you out there. Hopefully, if don't And if you're past, heads up. Don't invest in stocks, or I don't know. I don't pay attention. I didn't pay attention.
Oh,